about,
which is taro buns. This is a recipe that is one of my family favorites for both my side of the family and my husband's side, and it's from a part of China called Toishan. You won't be able to find this in many restaurants or stores. In fact, I haven't seen this store-bought ever at all. And so the only way you can enjoy it is to really make it yourself. And I understand why, because it's truly a labor of love. It's a lot of hard work, but the results are amazing. So first, let's start with the ingredients. Of course, taro. This one is a 3-pound one. I don't think we need quite such a large one, but you know, I'm not going to complain if we have extra. The second is Chinese sausage. We won't need the full pack. We'll probably need about 1 or 2. And then we'll need rice flour. This is the one that has the red color, which is the long grain type, as opposed to the short grain type, which has like a green color. And then cornstarch, some salt, ground pork, ginger to be grated. This is a pretty small piece. My family doesn't like ginger particularly, but you can adjust it to your taste.
and rice.
Not rice. Onion. This is pre-chopped about, you could probably use about 1/4 to 1/2 of an onion. What's this, Henry?
And hamai.
Dried shrimp, hamai. About 1/4 of a cup or so. Again, you could adjust to your taste. We'll need soy sauce as well. And green onion. And that's it for the ingredients. So let's get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So these are already pre-chopped, the onions. We're going to then chop the dried shrimp and the Chinese sausage. I actually like to, rather than, because for the green onion it can get kind of slimy, I actually like to use scissors for this step. So I'm gonna just use scissors and like cut them into small pieces. I actually think this is more than I'll need, so I'll probably use about 1/2 of it. And then we will just start cutting away. Let's chop the Chinese sausage. Remove the casing first. So we peel it off.
Yeah.
That can be tossed. Same thing with this one. We're gonna just cut these into small pieces. So first, you know, use a spoon to mix them a little bit. And actually these are ready too, so we're actually gonna put everything in. Do you want to pour the onions in?
Yeah.
You can use the spoon if you need help. So this is pre-washed, so it's a little bit softened, but I'm just gonna chop them up like this so that they're smaller pieces. All right, so we have also about 1 pound of ground pork. So we're gonna mix all of these in here.
Whoa. So big too.
Yeah. Okay. So next, next, we're gonna have 1 teaspoon of salt added to the mix. And a teaspoon of soy sauce. All right. Now let's mix it all together. Let me help you.
It's going to be yummy.
After we finish this mixture, we're going to set this aside and begin working with the taro. Okay, this looks pretty good. All right, set this aside. So we're done with this. And now we are going to prepare the taro. So this taro has been pre-washed. I'm going to cut off the edges, peel the skin, and then we're gonna grate the taro. So let's take this here. Get this off. So we're just gonna peel the skin off, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to eat that part.
You just put it on the skin, and the skin can make it good.
I'm going to get all those pieces and we're going to cut off a little bit from the top.
Like this.
Yep, it looks pretty good.
There's so much skin there over there.
Yeah, we're going to clear this off, but we're also going to cut off this part that is a little bit on the outside before we go ahead and grate this.
We need to do that. And cut the side of there.
Yeah. Okay. So now this is ready for grating. All right, so next we're going to cook the meat mixture. I'm going to pour a little bit of oil.
And
Probably about half a tablespoon or so. And we're going to just pour in the meat mixture and we're going to cook it until the meat is brown. And then in the meantime, we have a mixture of cornstarch with cold water. I ended up using about half a tablespoon of cornstarch, and you know, I added enough water to make it into a light mixture. So so this is looking pretty good. The meat's starting to brown. Now it is time to pour in the cornstarch mixture. Just mix it up a little bit right before pouring. And then make sure we stir it up real good. All right, I think this looks pretty good. And it's going to continue to cook when we steam the buns, so, you know, don't worry if it, you know, isn't fully cooked, but, you know, this is looking pretty good to me. And the next step is we're going to remove from heat and let it cool down. One trick is, like, if you want to make it easier for the wrapping part, you can actually cool it off in the fridge after it gets a little bit closer to room temperature before the next step. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off. So when handling taro for long periods of time, it can really cause your hands to get itchy. So I always have a pair of disposable kitchen gloves for this purpose.
you need to put it on.
Yep, we will. So we'll put this on and then we will use the grater.
Yeah.
I typically use the larger size grater. You can definitely use the smaller size as well, but I tend to prefer using that size. So I actually switched to the smaller part of the grater, and I think that's actually working a little bit better. So we're gonna just improvise and make improvements along the way. And also I've cut the taro into smaller pieces just so that it's a little bit easier for this grating process. Basically, we're gonna do a whole bunch of this and it's gonna turn into, you know, finely grated pieces.
Yeah.
So just continue until you're done with all the taro. All right, so next, after the taro is done, we're gonna also grate a small piece of ginger. It's optional. You know, my grandmother always added ginger, but you know, other recipes don't necessarily have it, but I'm gonna add this in here.
Go.
So we're gonna add now to the taro mixture about a teaspoon of soy sauce, another teaspoon of salt, we're gonna add like 2 teaspoons of oil, and I know we said we were gonna do the long grain rice flour, but we're actually going to do a mixture. So I'm going to do about 3/4 of a bag of this, but really to make the texture a little bit fluffier, my father-in-law likes to add tapioca starch, so we're going to do that. Or wheat starch is also a good alternative, but we're going to use about 1/2 bag of the tapioca starch and 3/4 of a bag or so. And really, the recipe is pretty forgiving. If you use more or less flour, it's just gonna have more of a flour versus taro mixture. So it really kind of, you know, is up to you, but that's the proportion we're gonna use. Each bag is about 1 pound, so in case you're getting a different sized bag. And another note in terms of preparation method, I'm not pre-cooking the mixture, the flour mixture. Another method is to use hot water and really cook the flour mixture in advance before mixing the taro in, and then the steam time will be a bit shorter versus the method I'm doing today, which is the method my grandmother used. Does not include cooking the flour mixture in advance, but we'll have to end up steaming the mixture for a little, or the actual taro buns for a little bit longer. So we're just gonna mix all of this together until it forms sort of a pasty texture. So I'm going to coat the bottom of this with a little bit of oil so that the taro buns don't stick to the bottom. And then this is where I'm going to be rolling the taro buns and placing them after we stuff them. All right. So I've put the meat mixture in the fridge for a little bit. I'm going to first roll out the dough and then start to stuff them. So I'm going to take a small bit of dough, probably about the size of a golf ball. Roll it out, then flatten it like so, and then we can start stuffing it. So let's take the meat mixture out of the fridge. can begin stuffing. Just gonna put a small amount. There. And then we can roll them up. Into a ball. Like so. And then place each one of these into the glass dish. My grandmother used a more traditional steaming basket that had multiple tiers, but I don't have something like that, but this will do just fine. So just put in some sort of a glass dish and steam for between 30 to 40 minutes. We can always, do a test to make sure that it's ready, but usually my grandmother would do around, closer to 40 minutes. All right, so now I've finished stuffing one set of taro buns. I've already preheated the steamer, and we're gonna put these in, and I'm gonna check them in about 30 minutes. Always keep checking the water level to make sure the water doesn't run out. And then I'll be back with the results. Okay, it's about 35 minutes, and it looks pretty good to me. So we're gonna take these out. And do the taste test. Alright, so it's actually better if you let these completely cool off because the outside forms a more firm shell.
And it's hot.
Yeah, and it's hot. But we're going to taste it right now anyway.
It looks yummy though.
So this is how the inside looks with the meat stuffing. And then the outside is sticky with the taro dough. You want to take the first bite?
No.
Hot. No? Too hot?
Yeah. It's yummy?
Yes, it's very good. And that was a success. I think other people may like putting additional things in the stuffing. I opted to skip out of the black beans this time. The Chinese black beans, cilantro, because my family doesn't tend to like that, but feel free to make it your own.
I like the taste, but